What's going on, fellow Nerd Jocks? How are we doing today? Jesse,
Big
how are
weekend,
you
man.
today?
I'm good. I'm excited. Also, kind of trepidatious, but
Okay.
kind of excited.
Throwing
I
out
had a
big
really
words. I
good
like
weekend.
it.
I know I had a really good weekend. You know why, but we'll save it for another episode.
All right. All right.
It's a dream come true kind of weekend. But
Awesome.
yeah, I'm good. I'm rocking the Batman shirt for the DC Fandome episode of Nerd Jock's.
Nice.
That's how it's got to be.
I'm sure you tuned in, and I hope everybody listening also tuned in, because I think all of the reveals that happened at DC Fandome are ones for us to just be genuinely excited of the reveals themselves. Like, oh my God, it's this. Oh my God, it's that. Oh my God, it's this. Oh my God, it's that.
Yeah, it's super exciting. It almost feels like, DC as a whole is finally doing some good things. I think they've kind of showed that. We'll kind of just glaze over some of the things that occurred and also get in depth with some others. There was a lot revealed. I think it's amazing the way they did it online. I know we don't have a Comic-Con or anything right now.
Yeah.
But the way they did it online may be the way this starts to happen in the future, because you have more groundswell and excitement from that than Hall H.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'd also like to throw in, maybe this will be how certain things are revealed and the more exclusive kind of reveals happen at these places. So like if you pay to go to a convention, if we get back to the cons kind of feel, you're going to get some exclusive stuff there at the cons, like Funko Pops are with the cons, right? You can get some like very exclusive stuff there. It might be the case with trailers, where with these online ones, we can all nerd out over these trailers that, like, I mean, the Wonder Woman trailer was really cool to see. I liked the vibe of that 1984 feel, but then there was other aspects within the trailer that I was just kind of like,
Yeah, let's just jump right into it, because that was going to be our first topic, and very professional of you to segue right into it.
I don't do this for
you.
I do this for
One, I'm on record. I don't love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Okay, and that's neither here nor there. She did a pretty good job in the first movie. I don't have a lot of complaints.
Yeah.
The ending was silly. So I was genuinely excited. Then I saw they're bringing Chris Pine back, and I'm like, I'm excited about that too. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was odd.
The dynamic. Then you watch this trailer. There's so much going on. The whole going back to her childhood thing, which I thought was interesting, and but then we start getting into the antagonists, and I think the problem that we see with a lot of DC films and even Marvel films for the most part, but their actors kind of help overcome this, is just really poor antagonists. It's just, I mean, Thanos is probably the best comic book antagonist, not named the Joker, that we'd ever seen on a big screen.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
the Russo brothers did him very well. Yeah.
They did him great. They made him kind of relatable. Like, okay,
you understood him.
You understood him, but you were still like, this guy needs to die. Like, it was like, you
gotta go.
Big spider in the side of the room. I get you want to kill all the bugs in here, but you might like bite me and kill me too. So I'm going to kill you. Yes, you gotta go. So then we start watching the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer, and we start getting into, I forgot, this is going to sound really bad, I forgot the name of the antagonist that Pedro Pascal is playing, who can grant people's wishes. But the one I really want to key on is Kristen Wiig's Cheetah. Gosh, did you really not have better CGI? Is that the CGI for the finished product of what she looks like?
Yeah.
Really? And excuse my voice, I've been coaching football all week, so a little raspy here and there. Sound like a 60-year-old from Yonkers. But
the villain is Maxwell Lord.
Thank you, Maxwell Lord. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But Cheetah's CGI that we got to see, first of all, the whole 1980s reference gold winged costume for Wonder Woman, I'm not a fan of. I like her genuine, her normal look and alterations of that.
Right.
But just that little snippet of that fight makes me not want to see that movie on the big screen.
I understand that.
No.
I think the vibes I got off of that trailer were similar to the same feeling I felt from Andrew Garfield's second Spider-Man film, where it just felt like there was too much going on. And I think one of the things that film suffered was that it didn't really know the direction it wanted to go in. It had, too many segues, and I almost said segwaves, which like it's a part of dubstep. When you said dubstep, I was like, but yeah, I think Gal Gadot does a good job performing as Wonder Woman. She does her best to portray the Amazonian leader that she is. Chris Pine coming back is in my opinion a great thing for that film, because Chris Pine is an amazing human being. I got to meet him, and he's just a genuine guy, and that's what comes through all his performances. So it just adds that layer. But yeah, I kind of felt the same thing, where I felt like Kristen Wiig's kind of whole character arc, I was like, man, this is unoriginal. It's just unoriginal, and it was that's the part for me where I was like, take some creative liberties with that character. Don't just force feed us the same, I want what you have kind of thing. It's like, I mean, we've seen this time and time again, and it did bum me out. And why not special effects? Like, why not do a version of her where it's a special effects, outfit? Sure. That would have been awesome. I would have loved to have seen a practical effects non-CGI version of Cheetah, right? So it's just I miss that. I miss that in film. So I get what you're saying. It was just like, man, here comes this CGI spectacle.
See, and it's like Warner Brothers for some reason can't get CGI right for some reason. Like if you go back and watch a lot of their films, the CGI is just poor.
Yeah.
The cave troll in Batman versus Superman, that was literally the cave troll from Lord of the Rings. Like it's that sort of thing that you just kind of look at and you're like, listen, you're a huge multi-billion-dollar studio. You can't get that right, really? So it was tough to watch. It's tough also because I think Cheetah is one of the most formidable adversaries for Wonder Woman in the comics. And she's got a certain edge to her that I don't necessarily think Kristen Wiig can have. Now, I'm not saying she's not a good actress, but I am saying this is going to be very outside anything we've ever seen her play before.
Right.
And I'm kind of skeptical that she can
You want to be able to believe
that edge off. Yeah, I just
it's all it's about, really.
And that was part of for me.
Did you feel like when you were watching the trailer, you believed her?
When she's like the femme fatale sexy walking in, I didn't believe that at all. I didn't believe that at all. Like her walking in, owning the room, like that sort of thing. Like that's like, to me, Kristen Wiig's like, the character on Saturday Night Live with the small hands,
It's hilarious.
Yes. The Lawrence Welk show skit that they used to do. Not, femme fatale, really hot walking in. She may pull it off. Okay. I obviously, and we'll get to this at the end, I didn't think Robert Pattinson had an edge to him that he could play for Batman. It took me one scene in the trailer to go, okay, I was wrong. I'm open to things. I didn't see anything in this that made me think that about Kristen Wiig. And I think that's my biggest issue. I'm excited to see why Chris Pine's back. Yeah. Because he was, to me,
I think it's a wish.
He was the best thing about the first movie.
I think it's a part of that wish.
Has to be.
Maxwell Lord wish. And I'm gonna already go with a prediction that he's gotta go with the wish. Something's gonna happen, and we're gonna watch him, maybe fade away. Hopefully, they don't do the Avengers like fade away thing. If they do that effect where he just fades, don't do that. But it'll tug at our heartstrings. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Gonna want to see how it does. Hopefully, they deliver. Maybe another trailer will help out. with some more footage and some more of those performances. But yeah, I'm all about like, I need to be able to believe these people, even if it feels too grand of a spectacle. One thing that, and this may be the case, what Infinity War did was like really just like set the bar for films and being able to deliver performances across the board that you're just like, these were great.
I honestly wish, and it's never going to happen, that the Russos would make every comic book movie I ever want to watch for the rest of my life. I mean, their ability to juggle a whole big cast, but then they also, I just watched Winter Soldier the other day, and like, you can't walk away from that movie and not go, I've got nothing but good things to say about it.
Yeah.
And that was a smaller cast. And then they did Civil War, which I think too much was trying to be done in Civil War, but it was still enjoyable.
Yeah.
But then in Infinity War and Endgame, I mean, there's just there's no directors to me that are as cool as those two. Yeah. And speaking of directors, we had a reveal of the Snyder Cut of Justice League and an announcement that for the next Flash movie, and this was kind of at the same time, that besides having Michael Keaton, which we already knew about, that my best friend in the whole wide world, Ben Affleck, is going to be back to play Batman.
Are you guys really best friends?
Just like the bestest of friends. Just the bestest of friends. Like we get along. Like we go out for beers and hang out the way that you and Nicolas Cage go out and hang out for beers.
Yeah. Nick and I get along really well.
You love his work. I mean, it's such a wonderful body of work. It's amazing.
So funny. I have people give me a hard time about my my natural resistance to Nicolas Cage. I'm sure like people would say the same about Ben Affleck. He's great. Haven't you seen what was the bank robbery movie? Like, I feel like that's whenever people reference, they're like, they either reference that or they reference the film from early on in his career.
They do The Town and Argo and Good Will Hunting. Those are the only three they ever bring up with Ben Affleck to talk about how good he is. Yeah,
those are the.
And I'm like, you know, he made like Geely, Daredevil.
There's also something to the Snyder Cut besides Ben Affleck that I'm kind of like, is 4 hours. 4 hours of 1 hour mini-series experience really is what it is. But 4 hours. You needed 4 hours to tell your version of that story?
Yeah.
You're not Quentin Tarantino. You have not delivered films in your career to compare yourself to someone like a Nolan or a Tarantino who takes, or a Scorsese, where they're like, I'm going to spend this long, and everybody's like, yeah, cool, fine. Spielberg, yeah, cool, fine. I mean, I'm not, this is no offense to Zack Snyder, though he might find that, like, it might take offense, but you're not on that level. I understand why the studio was like, no, 4 hours? Nope.
Boo-hoo, Zack Snyder, you made Sucker Punch, and you try and defend it to this day. That tells me everything I need to know about you as a director. Okay? Like seriously. Like, okay, so let's go ahead real quick, before we get into the Snyder Cut reveals and all that stuff in the 4 hours. Let's talk about Snyder's just resume.
Yeah.
Okay? So, 300. Okay? Visually stunning.
Yeah.
Pretty much stuck to the source material.
Oh, completely.
And Frank Miller was on set every day to make sure. I mean, he was there contributing, but you know he was there to make sure that he stuck to source material. He then makes, I don't remember if it was Watchmen or then Sucker Punch, but it was one or the other.
I think he did Watchmen and then Sucker Punch.
So he does Watchmen, which
was a
disappointment. Novel. Was a graphic novel that was a massive disappointment across the board. Nobody was happy with that. I don't think it's even that divisive. It was too long, and he strayed from the source material. Didn't have anybody to actually reel him back in again. Then he did Sucker Punch. Let's just let that be it, okay, about what we say about Sucker Punch. Visually stunning, story-wise terrible, didn't make any sense.
He's got great visuals. I mean, that's the thing about it.
He's a DP. He's not a director. He's a DP.
His ability to put an image on screen that is compelling is really good and is super unique in the industry. But yeah, then it just feels like there's just nothing in the center. It's just like, wow, it's really flashy and I like what I'm looking at, but it's not leaving me with anything.
He doesn't bring the best out of his actors either. Like so Man of Steel. Okay. They give him Superman. Man of Steel. I love Henry Cavill. I actually think from look perspective, he's the best actor we've ever had.
I love his story about how he got that opportunity. He was playing World of Warcraft. Yeah. He didn't know he was going to answer the phone. He didn't know he was going to answer the phone or not because he was so deep in a game. I was like, that's a Nerd Jock right there.
It is. Hey, Henry, if you're listening to this,
come on.
Let's talk.
Come on, buddy.
I love Henry Cavill, and I think he actually has this really engaging, personable side to him, right? We've never seen that as Superman on the big screen, ever. And then they announced Batman versus Superman, which you're like, huh? I mean, okay, this movie should make $1 billion. It doesn't because, and I don't care what anybody says, I hope people are watching this. That movie is hot garbage. Your Ultimate Edition is still hot garbage.
I think the minority is very vocal in the regard to uplifting that film and saying it's a really good film. I know plenty of people that have expressed, what was that? Just this opportunity that was there, and what was that? What was that?
Martha? It was Martha. It was just Martha.
It was Martha. And
then he starts
the Metropolis and Gotham right next to, like, just every.
Metropolis and Gotham are supposed to be like New York and Chicago.
Yeah, they're
what they're supposed to be like.
They're supposed to be super far
they're
away.
Not like, hey, there's a river right between the two of us.
And then there's just this magical effect happening where the Gotham city's just naturally more darker.
Super dark and dingy.
And then Metropolis. Yeah, that moment, I just remember feeling that, being like, this is someone who doesn't know past surface level information of the intellectual property. At least it's what I took away when that moment even hit me.
Yeah, and so then they give him Justice League, and obviously he has to walk away, for personal reasons. But I also think that the studio was probably also like, oh, the runtime is going to be 3 hours and 59 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to do something about this so we can recoup at least some of our losses, because this movie is not going to come anywhere near to making. You're not going to see that runtime as a consumer and go, I'm going to sit down and watch that film.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson had to cut his films.
There was worry too with Endgame because they knew how long it was going to be. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're kind of worried with. We know people will sit through it, but at the same time, I mean, the 3 hour, 20 minute.
I held my pee.
Oh, that's. I had a completely full bladder in that film. But yeah, for DC, the DC cinematic universe, they don't really have that luxury. They haven't won over the fan base the way the MCU.
100%. You're 100% right. And that was my feeling. It's like, you haven't culminated 21 films in this big finale, right? You didn't do that. You threw these people together and went, hey, we're making a Justice League movie because you didn't want to be like Marvel, but then you also didn't want to be smart at the same time. So you decided to make these decisions. So Snyder walks away. Whedon comes in. This is for people who don't necessarily. Whedon does a lot of reshoots. We've got the Henry Cavill fake mustache nose, which if you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. Like he talks and his top lip doesn't move whatsoever at all.
Yeah.
Again, bad CGI for Warner Brothers. And you watch the movie, and it's vapid. It could have been a TNT, movie. You know what I mean? Like it had no substance to it. Ben Affleck is still terrible.
I think I watched it on a flight. What
anybody says,
and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. Like the parademons and the Sound of Fear and like all this stuff. So now we're getting 4 hours, and now we're getting Darkseid. Now we're getting the post-apocalyptic, Metropolis, and now we're getting all this stuff about Cyborg that you weren't going to get. And man, we're going to get this backstory on Flash because he's an amazing character. He's terrible. He's an amazing character, and we want to get him in here. And you're just like, but it's 4 hours.
Yeah.
Do you not know what the editing room is for?
Well, I mean, that also starts with a really good script, and that there's a usual expectation of the length of a script, unless you are one of these more notable writers, where the script's going to be longer if you get it and it's going into production. There's expectations that you don't push over a certain limit. If you're up and coming, you're not as respected in the industry as those high level people. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot of pages. I mean, that's the thing for me. Like when I think 4 hours, I'm like, wait, what's the runtime in minutes? And then I'm like, then you break that down into pages. Oh my God, no. What?
And what's the average time per page?
It's a minute per
average
page.
Amount?
Minute per page. If I write a 120-page script, you're expecting a 120-minute movie. And if you have action in there, you're doubling on each page a minute. You're doubling, so 2 minutes a page with action, sometimes more because those action sequences could be pretty ridiculous. So yeah, his script was easily a minimum 150 pages, I believe.
Oh, had to be more, right?
That's what I mean. Is like,
well, yeah, I mean with action,
if you add up action and stuff like that, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, but it's Zack Snyder, so it's gonna be a lot of talking, really cool visuals.
Yeah.
A lot of talking, really cool visuals again.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not excited. Look,
you know what we are gonna get? Really cool GIFs.
We are. Oh, so many.
I mean, we're gonna get a lot of really cool GIFs. I mean, that's the one thing I will take away. Memes and GIFs will be quite prevalent, and I will be thankful for them when I text one to you one day.
It's going to be amazing. I think, and just really quick, going to gloss over it very quickly. I am only excited about the Flash movie if they literally Flashpoint Paradox the entire DCEU and reboot the whole thing. That's the only reason I'm excited about it.
Their little ace in the hole and attempt to do that. That would be awesome. I would be all for that storyline. I think that is much needed right now. They need to do something to shock it back to life. That's what it needs right now. It needs a defibrillator.
Or James Wan just keep making crazy visual Aquaman movies and just make all of the movies like that, where you literally look at the screen and you're like, I have no idea what's going on.
But this is awesome. Yeah, this is like the really circus. Was. Yeah. Yeah. Really but speaking of directors that I am really excited for and one day I would love to work with is James Gunn. Getting a hold of Suicide Squad is probably going to generate DC's cinematic universe a lot of respect as well as a lot of money, because James Gunn really is one of those directors who knows what he's doing. He is a nerd. He understands the comic book source material, and he understands what works well in his creative vision. And I think that is like the perfect story for him to give his take on. And I'm really excited to see what he does with that film.
Yeah, I like that they just did kind of a snippet of how they were making it and the talk to the cast, then did the cast reveal. I got to be honest, though. Some of the characters in Suicide Squad, I mean, I'm kind of a comic book nerd, and I'm looking at it going, huh? Who's that one guy? He had one, like, there's one, like, TDK, which is played by Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. Another person I've heard nothing but amazing things about.
So TDK, the character he's playing, may be a reference to the Take Off Your Limb Kid, which was like referenced like once, like a long time ago, where there was literally a villain who could literally take his arm off and beat you with it.
Oh wow, nice.
Like, yeah, so like I get Margot Robbie's costume looks amazing. I like that they brought the Amanda Waller back. Not sure if I love the Rick Flag costume they have. We'll see. I mean, I think they're very obscure characters for Suicide Squad, but I also think he did that because like he can kill them.
Yeah,
because they're meaningless.
Yeah,
you know.
But they can be really fun when they get on camera, and they can really help move the story along in such a way that I just think that's what the first Suicide Squad film missed. Was there was just a lot of like lip service to storytelling it's this sword takes souls. Oh, she's amazing. Okay, cool. That's all we learned. That's it. You know, didn't learn
She never
else.
took a soul when it once.
I mean, we didn't learn anything else. You know, and there were just moments in that film that I was just like, man, if it weren't for some of the performances like Margot Robbie's, I even think Will Smith did the best that he could with given what he was given. You know, all of that to be said, it was just like, man, this could have been so good. You know, so that's why it's got me excited to see what James Gunn does with it, because we can look at the stuff he's done in the past and be like, all right. I did not expect him to do what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. Did not expect it to be as strong as it was.
I think that was also on the strength of really good casting as well. I think he cast incredibly well for that film. And, you know, I think he's been blessed with some already casting that was established within itself here, which I think is going to be good for him, because I don't necessarily know. I think it's interesting. I think the one interesting thing about Gunn, and I've got nothing bad to say about him as a director, I think the really interesting thing about Gunn is they never offered him an Avengers movie. So my curiousness about that is, does Marvel think that he's niched as just a funny guy director and not somebody who can necessarily have
like Taika
some heart into what he's doing, which you don't need for Suicide Squad, you know, because unless you're doing Floyd Lawton's story or you're digging deeper into if you're digging deeper into the Joker storyline at all, you don't really need heart. You need very expendable characters. I'm excited to see King Shark on the big screen. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I really enjoy his character. Yeah, I haven't watched the Harley Quinn animated show. It's hilarious, and King Shark is funny on it.
Isn't he like super violent as well because he's a shark?
Super violent. Super violent. What's funny about the King Shark, he's super violent, but he's constantly wearing like sweater vests and khakis. Like he's fully dressed all the time. Yeah. And then when they're in fighting situations, he'll totally complain about all the violence going on, and then he'll bite somebody's head off. Which is like, you haven't watched the show. It's really funny. I think they did a really good job with that show. It's its own little crazy universe, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
So speaking of Suicide Squad and talking about King Shark, because the most amount of King Shark I witnessed from the DC Fandome event was the announcement of a sleeping giant coming out and making their first game in over 7 years or something now. The Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League.
Interesting title. That sounds like a lot of fun.
But King Shark was all over that trailer, and I also think the first thing I took away from that trailer was the voice acting was spot on. Like I love every bit of each voice actor's performance within the Suicide Squad games reveal.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I was really excited about what I saw until I saw the release date's 2022. So I'm like, come on, really? So really, really quick, I looked this up. I quoted you this. The other day. Arkham Knights was Rocksteady's last game. Was released in 2015.
That's right.
So by the time we actually get this game out in 2022, it'll be 7 years between games.
I can only believe that that's possibly due to the fact that they were like, because here's my thing on Rocksteady's games. They pushed the graphics to the level that I was so impressed every time I'd watch gameplay from all of the Batman games. And I'm like, man, their graphics are crazy, right? What else can they do when you think about it? Graphics are like the highest thing that you could push before getting into next gen, where next gen will then become this. We'll get so used to things like ray tracing and global illumination and all that stuff, right? The graphic quality that will need something else. I can only expect that they were waiting to get the dev kits for next gen, where they were like, we're not going to create a game until we can get those next gen dev kits, and then we'll start working on a game. And that delay, because I don't think dev kits started getting shipped out until like late 2017, early 2018, might have been what they were just sitting around waiting for before they jumped into development. I'm guessing.
We've been hearing rumors for years that they had another game in development and nobody knew what it was, and whether those rumors were true or not, we don't necessarily know. But this was one of the games that was rumored. It was rumored for a long time. It's kind of fluctuated, the rumors. I think it's interesting that it was also rumored that they were doing a Bat Family game, which was also revealed by WB Games Montreal.
Yeah.
I think you can really see the difference between the two. When you watch the trailers for the two games, look, I got nothing bad to say about WB Games Montreal. I think if you actually go back and play Arkham Origins, it's an underrated video game. I actually think it was very enjoyable. I think the writing was good. Troy Baker's Joker was good. I ultimately think that it was a good game. It was not Rocksteady's game, but it was still a good game. It was as close as we could get to it.
Yeah.
When you watch the reveal of Gotham Knights, and you watch the reveal of Kill the Suicide Squad, there definitely felt like a quality difference between the two.
Yeah.
And it definitely, there was definitely a voice acting difference. My gosh, some of the stuff on Gotham Knights, I really hope that was just alpha or beta level stuff, because some of that writing was super corny. Okay, super corny. Like let's bring it back in. I think it's going to be really interesting to see the co-op nature that we're starting to see.
Yes.
That's being emphasized.
Yes.
I think that's really important.
I'm excited about that. I've wanted that for so long, to see that happen. Oh my God.
Yeah, and we're kind of seeing it with I'm pointing at my PlayStation 4. You guys don't know what I'm pointing at. That's my PlayStation 4.
And if you're only listening, you don't even see the point.
You don't. Yeah, we're kind of seeing that with Avengers coming out next week, 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
I really hope it's not as buggy as what I played. I really hope they fix those. I really hope they use the beta to fix those as we move into it. But you're seeing the emphasis that we're starting to place on co-op, because we're understanding that there's nothing. Look, God of War is probably one of my favorite single-player campaigns ever. I can't imagine somebody being boy in that game with me, right? Playing two-player. Yeah. It's very much an individual game.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Standing strong, but they've got a 4-player coming out. Yeah, I mean, they understood, like, hey, we can deliver you an amazing single-player experience that you're all going to talk about, but guess what? People want to play together.
Yeah, and that's going to make me, I haven't picked it up yet. That's going to make me end up picking it up, most likely, because I can play with others.
Yeah, man.
So I don't really have, honestly, my gaming is only done with others right now, based on my schedule, my life. I have to game with other people, otherwise, I don't have time to really dive into the single playerness of it. So I just think it's interesting seeing both those developers. I'm really happy to see it. It's a lot of Batman all at once or DC, but like they even said Kill the Justice League is set in the same universe as Arkham.
Yeah.
So it's set in the same universe, which tells me there's a lot that could be done with that.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Superman's all crazy, he looks like. Maybe it's a kryptonite thing.
I was guessing red kryptonite because of his eyes glowing red. I'm guessing that's what they were doing. And that's clearly a huge Brainiac ship on the Earth in the trailer. So Brainiac would know that.
Yes. So it's interesting to see where they're going to go with that. I don't know if that was going to be 2-player or 4-player co-op. Whichever way they go with it, Kill the Justice League.
Suicide Squad is supposed to be a 4-player co-op experience, whereas Gotham Knights is going to be just 2-player. Yeah, the 4-player co-op is going to be so cool. Oh my God, that is going to be
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. As a gamer, that's going to be exciting stuff. We had some other reveals. We had Black Adam. We had that little stop motion comic of it.
Yeah.
And we can just really briefly. I love The Rock. I actually really like a lot of the stuff he puts out. I think he seems like everything I've ever heard about him. He's a great human being.
I've heard some stories as well, and I'm just like, another one of those in this conversation of awesome human beings.
Yeah, Black Adam's a bad guy. And it looks like we're trying to go this anti-hero route.
Right.
But that's not a bad guy. That's not a villain. Okay? He is a villain to Shazam. They square up with each other.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that out of this. I feel like they're going to try and make him a character that's a hero.
It felt like fan service.
You know?
I mean, that's really the thing. It's exactly how it felt like fan service. And I think that's what I didn't like about it was I was like, oh, this is like if you were sitting down to eat food and I was the dog off to the side, you were like, here's the crumbs. Like it kind of felt that way of giving me information. Like I was like, it's just crumbs. Cool.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I walked away from that feeling,
We got that. We also got that for Shazam 2. They revealed the title of that. I think it's Battle of the Gods or Wrath of the Gods. So we're going to be dealing with some of the gods he got his power from. They wouldn't give a lot else. They talked to James Wan a little bit about Aquaman 2, and they just said it's going to be more on the horror end. Not sure how you do that with Aquaman. Look, both those movies I enjoyed. They're both good popcorn films. The main people did pretty decent jobs in them. I have no complaints. I'm excited to see what they do in second movies.
Yeah.
But then we got the big reveal. So, the Batman, as you can see from the shirt. so I think they've got 8 weeks in the can. So that's what they put the trailer together on. Now you can go online and you can YouTube and you can see a bunch of trailer, kind of dissections and Easter eggs, and is the guy duct taping Riddler? And here are my 3 big takeaways from that trailer. 1, they weren't kidding about the noir style of this.
Nope.
It definitely feels like a different film than we've seen. It definitely feels darker than any Batman movie we've seen on screen.
For sure.
Colin Farrell was unrecognizable.
Wait, he's in that?
He's the Penguin. He's the guy with the big nose and it's Colin Farrell.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Amazing. I had no clue. I knew he was in the film. I didn't know.
Can you Google it right now?
Yeah, I'm sure I can.
I just want to see your reaction. Just Google Colin Farrell Penguin and look at the way he looks. I mean, it's astounding. Like, the transformation it's ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
This isn't dead air, guys. I want to wait for this reaction. Doesn't even look like him at
he
all.
Looks like he looks like that comedic actor from he's in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, he looks. Yeah, somebody else said it. He looks like. You'd have to watch the video in order to be able to check this out. He looks like Richard Kind. He looks like this guy.
He does. Yes, he totally does.
I was watching Curb and I was like, he's that guy. That's that guy. That's Colin Farrell. That's amazing. Look at that.
Dude, that transformation's incredible, right? Like, I thought they were going to play him as some mob boss guy. He actually kind of looks like the Penguin.
That's like when Gary Oldman stepped out as Winston Churchill and I was like, that's Gary Oldman? What?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh my gosh. And then my third takeaway is, look, I don't know how he's going to be as Bruce Wayne. I think I'm still kind of on the fence on how that's going to look.
Yeah.
But I am definitely on the train of I'm going to give Robert Pattinson a chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you ever get a chance to see The Lighthouse? Or Lighthouse?
I haven't. I haven't sat down to watch it. And none of my issues with Robert Pattinson as Batman were ever strictly based on he's shovel face from
Screen Junkies trailer of Twilight.
Yeah, Twilight. Yeah, exactly. Sparkly guy. That was never my hang up. My hang up was I didn't see somebody who can embody the intimidation factor that I saw that Batman has to have.
Yeah. And
so I'm watching the trailer and, hey, he's there and okay, suit. I don't love the suit, but I
wasn't a big fan either.
Yeah. I get a lot of Long Halloween vibes from it. It's not like it's their own thing. Okay. He's early in his career. It's obvious from some of the shots that he's not in the manor, or if he is in the manor, there's just a garage. He doesn't really have a cave.
Yeah.
Like, this is year 2 Batman. So, he's still a bit elevating, still changing. I think that's why, it's not as sleek as it eventually looks. Right.
Right.
The scene when he beats down that thug.
Yeah.
That was the scene that I watched and went, Oh, they're memes? I don't even know.
There's memes where you're like, someone's like, yeah, he's beating up the thug, and then he keeps going, and it's like, you know, that moment of how the reaction shifted when you see him just continue to beat this guy. Yeah.
So the two things I loved about that scene were, one, Matt Reeves answered my question: does he have the ability to have the intimidation factor? Two, the look on the other thugs' faces as he's beating this other thug down, I was like, that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you remember in the comic books. The animated series really got that across to you. Like, everybody was like, oh my God. Yeah, once he starts whooping ass, you're like, oh, I need powers. Or big explosive weapons.
Yes, for sure. Yes.
For a bigger paycheck.
And I'm hoping they cut that speech off where he went, I am vengeance, and he just goes, I am the knight, I am Batman, and just does the kind of speech from Batman the Animated Series that's so amazing.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
Kevin Conroy delivers it way better than I'll ever deliver it.
Of course, yeah.
But
Kevin Conroy.
it would be so cool for him to say that as he's like rising back up again. At those guys that look like they had Joker paint on their face, by the way.
Did look like clown paint.
Put that out there. Look like clown paint. Yeah. Very much look like clown paint. So I'm not sure where they're going to go with that, but 8 weeks in the can. Matt Reeves, you have my attention.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Matt Reeves is, you know, going to give us a take on Batman that we haven't yet gotten outside of animated comic books. We haven't gotten this in film yet. You know, I think there's one moment in all of the Batman films that really makes you go, oh wow, that I always remember. If I think of a bunch of different moments with Batman on screen, is that time that in Batman Returns, right? Or the second Batman film with Catwoman, where he throws the dude off the side of the bridge with the bomb on and blows up?
Yes.
I was like, that's murder. That man was
exactly.
That man was murdered. Are we just moving on? Cool. He murdered that man. In case you knew it, he's serious. You know, that was that moment that stands out to you where you saw violence. I don't know if a lot of people recall that moment, but that was a moment for me that I was like, that guy just blew up. Moment. He didn't survive. There's no way he's still alive. That was dynamite. He's gone.
You know what's crazy about that scene? You bring that up. I always bring that up as to why I didn't like Burton's Batman. I thought he was more Punisher than Batman. Batman pulls that bomb off another guy, walks around Gotham kicking other guys' asses, finds that guy, and the guy punches him in the face. He looks at him, and he's like, shrugs it off, and then he looks down, and the bomb is attached to him, and then Batman smiles and kicks him down a hole. Yeah. And then he blows up, and you're like, that's first-degree murder. Like, he walked around with that bomb like, I'm going to murder somebody with this thing.
It was premeditated. Someone who's him. No. Him. Yeah.
Yes. Totally premeditated.
That thug woke up that morning and was like, we're going to wreak havoc. I'll probably get punched. I might get knocked out. There's no way I'm dying. Batman doesn't kill anybody. What are you talking about? Holy, that's a...
He did also turn his car around, and a guy who was blowing fire at him in that movie, he revs his engine, his jet engine, and sets the guy on fire.
It's true. Did anybody put that guy out?
I don't think so. Yeah. It's not like he put him on fire and then immediately like shot it. Oh my gosh. He murdered a lot of people. He had guns on his cars. That was not Batman. That was the Punisher, okay? But I think what I really liked, so I'm going to go back to a director we were talking about before. Snyder probably made the best Batman action sequence that we've ever seen on screen. He probably did. The sequence when Batman is taking out the thugs to save Martha, saving Martha in the warehouse.
Yeah.
That scene.
I feel like that should have been the tagline on the poster. Batman v Superman. Martha. Period.
everyone like, what's going on with this film?
What do I need to know? Sorry.
But I really think
that sequence.
I really think when you look at, I really think that sequence, I already saw bits of that in the Batman trailer. You know, when guy shoots him in the chest, he's rappelling up the thing, he's fighting multiple bad guys. He beats down that thug within an inch of his life, which, let's be honest here, Batman doesn't kill, but he definitely has some people in physical therapy all over Gotham with some permanent injuries. Like he's taking joints and putting them in directions that they're not supposed to go. It's like, listen, thug, you may be alive, but you are going to have a lot of medical bills for the rest of your life.
I have wondered, what do the family members of that thug, when that thug's like no longer a member of organized crime, but he's like, it's like, you know, like his nephew, it's like, uncle, hey son, how was it? How are you? You know, it's like, what happened to your arm? Stay in school. Stay in school, son. Stay in school. You know, never wants to admit it.
Drugs are bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like you get your education. It's that scene in Billy Madison. He's like, get your education. You stay in school.
No, I really think that, I mean, Reeves has my attention. I'm excited to see what he's doing now. I'm excited to see Pattinson's take on Batman.
Yeah.
I really hope, I still can't tell if he's done a lot of working out.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Really hope he has. But I really think that that movie has some potential.
It does.
And to me, coming out of DC Fandome, everything that we watched and saw, I might be a little biased. That was the thing I walked out most excited about.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, as a moviegoer, as a gamer, very excited to get that first kind of like co-op experience to that extent out of Gotham Knights. It'll, you know, I think it'll lead us up for the Suicide Squad game and the excitement there. My overall takeaway was pleasantly surprised overall with what I saw out of the DC Fandome event, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be an exciting time. I really hope all of these intellectual properties deliver. I do, I really do. I don't expect the Snyder Cut to, but yeah, I hope all the other ones.
No, I don't. And I'll be honest, because we have this podcast, I'm gonna watch it.
We have to.
It's not going to be my favorite 4 hours of my life.
We have to have informed opinions. Don't just make your opinion based on other people's opinions. Inform yourself.
I think there's certain things that I can have an opinion about that I don't have to be informed on. Like,
that's the half of
getting
Nerd
shot
Jock.
with a gun hurts. I mean, I don't need to be shot to know that.
Yes.
Having Batman beat me down with a hammer fist.
Yes.
That's going to hurt.
Yes.
I don't need to be the thug to know that.
That is true.
And I'm going to leave you with this thought. Is Marvel being quiet because they don't have anything right now? Or do they have a lot and they're just waiting?